Hello and welcome to the Sideboard. I am Ruben Bressler and I am joined by Chi-Hui Yim, finalist of the most recent Invitational. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Excellent. And you've brought something pretty interesting to the table. Now, red, white, blue, tempo, mid-range is a deck that has been performing relatively well. Todd Anderson top-8'd with it in Indianapolis. It was a notable Japanese innovation where top 3 decks from one of their state's tournaments played Thundermaw Hellkite, and people were very impressed with that. And you also have Thundermaw Hellkite, you have Geist of St. Traft, you have Restoration Angel, but you've also got some other ones. So tell us a little bit about where this deck came from.
Well, basically, I just wanted more threats because these weren't enough, so I just added the Ferret Geist and the Galvanic Juggernaut to do a little bit more damage.
To be even more aggro. Now, Fettergeist and Galvanic Juggernaut are not exactly the most played cards ever. Talk to me a little bit about, well, let's start with Fettergeist.
He's really just a huge body for 3 mana. Most white-based aggro deck can't attack past it, and they play defense really well too.
Excellent. And Galvanic Juggernaut is one that I don't think I've seen in any standard list ever.
Yeah, it hits really hard.
Usually 5/5 for 4. There you go.
Yeah, one hit is usually enough, but you could definitely untap it with all the other cards that supports it.
Absolutely. Now you were saying earlier that this is basically a mono red deck splashing for Geist of St. Traft.
Really close to that.
This is much more of an aggro deck than the red, white, blue tempo decks that we've been seeing recently that have Jaces and things like that. And if the creatures aren't enough, you have 4 Devil's Play main deck.
Yep, just get them dead.
Just get them dead as fast as possible.
Yep, one hit from any of these guys and Devil's Play is right in range.
Excellent. Yeah, and it can also serve us as a 2-for-1 over the course of a couple turns.
Yeah, that's really good too. Like turn 2 Devil's Play, like some 1 toughness, Stormput Noble, Champion of Parish, something like that. It's still really good.
Right. And you've got one of Slayer's Stronghold because you've got so many guys making all of your top decks live.
Yeah, so whenever I'm just top decking a creature, I can give them haste and they might not expect the damage coming through and they might be just dead. And
you only want to have one really because you've got Geist in your deck.
Yeah, I need all
the one won't
mana.
Hurt you. Yeah. So this reminds me of a deck from a while ago that was PT Jank, which was nicknamed the Gun.
I wasn't playing back then.
I wasn't really playing back then. I'm just from reading old coverage. This is a lot. This is the American Gun, right? This is the Smith and Wesson for the new generation. Yep. So this is just the most aggro deck you can be playing if you're not playing Gravecrawler.
Basically.
Cool. So speaking of zombies, how's the zombies matchup?
I think it's decent because basically Ferret Geist and Galvanic Juggernaut, they play defense really well. The turn you play them, and then when you gotta hit them once or twice, you just gotta finish them off with all the other burn spells. Sure. Because the turn you play them, they can't attack you, and it's pretty good. Excellent.
Now, looking at your sideboard, we've got some interesting choices. The first one I want to point to is the full play set of Jace, Architect of Thought in sideboard.
Yep. Basically, I want something against the control deck where the games go really long, and my game plan is just hit all my land drops and finish them with Devil's Play. Yeah, and they can try to back them up with counter spells as well.
Excellent. Yeah, and you have Negate and Dissipate in the sideboard. You've got, now, I guess that's a really good plan because they only have so many counter spells.
Right.
And only so many of them can be Syncopate.
Right. And
Devil's Play has Flashback, so you can just finish them off.
Hopefully one of them don't get single pay, or I get to have a counter for the single pay, so eventually I get to just burn them out.
Sure.
Since they never put any pressure on you anyways.
Now you have a couple other interesting ones in the sideboard, Divine Deflection and Thunderbolt. Now, the Thunderbolts are obviously for Restoration Angels, mostly.
Yep, mostly for Restoration Angels.
Also for Spectral Flighted Precinct Captains or something like that, because, in a pinch it works. What are the Divine Deflections for?
Basically, against the other aggro decks where they don't have a lot of counter spells, you can kind of outrace them with all your Devil's Play and Divine Deflection. It kind of like 6/5 all in your deck.
Sure. So this is a lot like Captain's Maneuver from Apocalypse, where it's just prevent damage, deal you damage.
Yep.
Just get them dead as fast as possible. Yep. Add more fireballs to the deck.
Fireballs.
Excellent. Well, Chi-Hui, thank you for joining me, and good luck.
Thanks.